And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watch UK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Here we go. Week 4 in the National Football League. It is time to make our confidence picks, where we don't pick against the spread. We pick winners, or we at least attempt to. And then we assign a confidence rating for every game. 16 points to the game we have the most confidence in, down to 1 point the game we have the least confidence in. So before we pick the 16 games on the NFL docket for this, Thursday through Monday, how do we do week 3? Well, it was another winning week. We went 10 up and 6 down, 95 points total. The two teams that got me were Green Bay, as I got a lot of people, and those pesky Atlanta Falcons. They annoy me so much. But for the season, we are now 28 up and 20 down, 295 points. For overall players, we are at 61.6%, up 9.6% from last week. So the second straight week that we have climbed. Let's make another jump again in week 4. All right, so let's start with the game I got the most confidence in. The team I got the most confidence in, it's got to be the Buffalo Bills playing at home against the New Orleans Saints. I mean, come on. The Bills have put up 30 points in at least 30 points in every game. The Saints are averaging 15 points per game. New Orleans is also making back-to-back long road trips. The Bills have 10 days rest. It doesn't get more obvious, or at least it shouldn't. At Buffalo, the one thing, they've had a pretty porous run defense. In this game, they can get it right. So give me the Bills, best bet, with my number 16 pick. That's also going to be my survivor pool pick. Number 15, let's go to the Sunday night game, the Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. The Green Bay offense, wow, it was lifeless against Cleveland. But the Cowboys is the exact opposite of that. This defense is all but inept. I'll give you a couple of ways. They have surrendered the most passing yards in the NFL, surrendered the third most total yards in the NFL. They're the worst team at stopping offenses on third down. Opponents are converting nearly 54% of their third down attempts. Opposing quarterbacks are averaging 9.8 yards per pass. Think about it. That means if they're throwing on first down, they're averaging nearly a first down on every time they throw. No one is even close. They've also given up the second most touchdown passes in the NFL. And then on offense, no CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do on offense for the next couple of weeks. Oh, and I heard something about a guy named Micah Parsons. This might be a revenge game for him. Yeah, give me the Packers, 15. Number 14, the team that the Packers beat, the Cleveland Browns, they're heading out to the Motor City, heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. You got to give the Browns some credit. The defense has looked good. At least it's looked good at home. All right, let's see if they could do this in Ford Field inside with 80,000 rabid Lions fans. And I wonder if the Browns might be feeling themselves up just a little bit after that upset of Green Bay. Yes, their defense is impressive, but can they keep that going? Hey, maybe Mason Graham can disrupt that interior offensive line of Detroit and make an impact. But regardless, I don't think the Cleveland offense can keep up with the Detroit offense. So give me the Lions with my number 14. Let's go to 13, the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego, California at the New York Football Giants. Jackson Dart, welcome to the NFL. And he comes in facing one of the best defenses in the game. Oh, Malik Neighbors is banged up. He hasn't practiced. He's barely practiced this week. I think Justin Herbert stays hot. I think Ladd McConkey has a big day. I'm taking the Chargers to go to, I believe, 4-0. Number 12, Monday Night Football. Not the Jets-Dolphins game. No, I'm going to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos with this pick. You know, after Joe Burrow went down with his injury, I saw some people say that Jake Browning would step right in for Joe Burrow and the difference would not be that noticeable. Well, how did that work out last week against Minnesota? This Cincinnati offense stinks. Chase Brown is averaging under 2 yards per carry. The offensive line has allowed 10 sacks. And Denver has dropped 2 straight on the road, but now they are home. I'm going to take Denver in a get-right spot. Let's go to number 11. AFC South, the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. 2 0-3 washouts. The difference is, at least in my mind, the Texans were supposed to be good. Now they jettisoned C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, I know Houston has scored the fewest points in the NFL, but the biggest mismatch here is that Texans defense against a horrific Tennessee offensive line that is down 2 starters and a rookie in Cam Ward who has been facing a lot of pressure. I think the Houston defense forces a couple of turnovers, gives them some short fields to work with. Even if they don't put the ball in the end zone, I still think they'll be in field goal range. I'll take Houston at home. Number 10, the Washington Commandskins at the Atlanta Falcons. As I mentioned earlier, once again, Atlanta screws me over. Michael Penix does not look good at all. I'm quite disappointed in his performance thus far. If anything, he looks confused by NFL defenses. It's not that he's lacking any physical ability. He just hasn't put it together yet. And the other thing with Washington, they've got a good enough run defense to contain Bijan Robinson. Now, as of right now, we don't know for sure if it's Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota behind center for Washington, but I don't care. I'm bitter at the Falcons and all things Atlanta. Give me Washington on the road. Number 9, the game that, as I'm recording right now, is currently in progress. I have not checked the score. The Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals NFC West match. Both teams come in at 2-1. Cardinals suffer a big blow, losing running back James Conner for the year. The Seahawks just embarrassed New Orleans last Sunday. The Cardinals really haven't beat any teams that really stand out at this point, and they have a passing attack that's ranked 28th, and it's been struggling as Marvin Harrison is apparently still learning how to catch a football, and my fantasy teams are facing the consequences of that, but that's neither here nor there. But the Seahawks, they have outscored Pittsburgh and New Orleans 75-30 over the last 2 weeks. Plus, they're getting healthier. Zach Charbonnet, Devin Witherspoon, Julian Love, they could all return. Oh, and on a side note, Kyler Murray is 0-7 in his last 7 starts against Seattle. Give me Seattle on the road. Number 8, the Indianapolis Colts at the Los Angeles Rams. Big test for a very surprising and unbeaten Colts team. But the demolition of Miami and Tennessee, it doesn't do as much for me as it seems to do for some other people. Now they're heading across the country to play the Rams, who probably should have beat Philly last week. I think the Rams are going to give the Colts a little dose of humility here. So give me the Rams with my number 8. Number 7, the Carolina Panthers at the New England Patriots. That's just a yucky game. I know the Panthers shut out the Falcons last week, but I am not ready to believe in them after one game. It was the Jekyll and Hyde Falcons after all. As for the Patriots, turnovers doomed them against Pittsburgh. I think they're going to get back on track at home. You got Christian Barmore and Christian Gonzalez practicing. They should be back. That boosts their defense significantly. Also, Carolina is 1-14 with Bryce Young as quarterback on the road. And of those 14 losses, 10 of them came by at least 7 points. Give me New England at home. Number 6, the other Monday night game, the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. As of right now, we don't know who's playing quarterback for the Jets, just like we don't know with Washington as of right now. Now, Justin Fields is practicing in full, but as of Thursday night has not cleared concussion protocol. But Miami is home. They're coming off extra rest. They gave Buffalo quite a game. Now, I'm not worried about momentum. I don't think momentum really carries over game to game in situations like this. Here's what worries me. The Dolphins, I think, are going to have multiple explosive plays against a slow Jets defense that right now can't stop a Division II team. All right, they lost Quincy Williams, one of their fastest players and most effective tacklers. And on the other side, can the Jets' offensive line pick up the Miami blitz? Miami blitzes more than 50% of the time, and the Jets couldn't handle it against Tampa Bay. I don't have any reason they're going to pick it up against Miami. I'm taking the Dolphins at home. And yes, I'm predicting my Jets fall to 0-4. Number 5, the Chicago Bears at the Vegas Raiders. Just when you were ready to quit on Caleb Williams, how about him, huh? How about that guy? He beats down on the Dallas Cowboys like a snare drum. Now he faces the Raiders' 24th ranked pass defense, albeit on the road where he's only won one game. But then again, the Bears are missing Jalen Johnson, which hurts their pass defense. I can see a lot of offense here. I'm going to take the Bears, albeit reluctantly. Really, from game 6-1, they're tough calls, but especially 5-1. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This marks the 5th time since January of 2022 that the Eagles and Buccaneers have squared off. And including this game, all 5 have taken place at Raymond James Stadium. I think there's some Eagle fans who might be buying fall and winter homes down in Western Florida. But it's a battle of the unbeatens. The Bucs are pretty banged up. They're missing Mike Evans. So Quinyon Mitchell can focus on Emeka Egbuka. But there's something about the Eagles. They do just find ways to win games. Then again, so do the Bucs, albeit it's always in the last minute. But here's the thing. Baker Mayfield has not come back against the defense on the level of the Philadelphia Eagles. Baker Mayfield, here's the thing with Baker. Yes, he's elevated his game. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But he has not yet thrown an interception. Last year, he threw, I think he was tied for the league lead with the most interceptions, even though he's had 7 plays that have been deemed interception worthy. Buccaneers have been a little lucky as of this point. I'm going to pick the Eagles on the road. Number 3, let's head across the pond to the great country of Ireland, the Minnesota Vikings against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Minnesota is playing 2 straight overseas games. That's pretty crazy. Now, last week, the Vikings humiliated Cincy. Pittsburgh is 2-1, but they definitely have their flaws. Even though Aaron Rodgers did struggle against Minnesota last year, I think he's going to have a little bit more success. And I'm just not ready to say that Carson Wentz will have a great week 2 straight games. Plus, keep in mind, he's facing a Pittsburgh defense that forced 5 turnovers last week and recorded 5 sacks. I'm taking Pittsburgh in Ireland. That leaves us with 2 games. All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the San Francisco 49ers. Is this the Mac Jones revenge game? You know, he's with the Niners now, was with the Jaguars last year. I'm actually taking the Jaguars in this game. Brock Purdy might play in this game. He's been very limited in practice. Mac Jones is banged up too. But the Niners are just so beat up. Nick Bosa down for the year with an ACL injury. Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, they're hurt too. And one thing about Jacksonville, their defense leads the league in takeaways. You know, maybe I hope the Jets coaches are watching some of the Jacksonville defensive films and figuring out it's legal to actually force the other team to commit a turnover. I know the Jacksonville offense is not setting the world on fire. Brian Thomas isn't doing much. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great. Call this one just a shot in the dark. I'm taking Jacksonville in an upset. And then finally, probably the biggest game of the week, or if not the biggest, the second biggest, the Baltimore Ravens travel to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have believed before the season that this would be a battle of 2 teams with records of 1-2 each? This game reeks of desperation for a return to relevancy. Well, the Chiefs got their first win of the season last week against the Giants. And the funny thing is they're coming back home, and they are a home underdog against a team they have beat 4 of the last 5 times that they have squared off. The Chiefs' offense isn't right. The Ravens' defense isn't right. I'm going to go with Baltimore for the simple reason that I think they're just playing better. They're a little bit deeper. I think they're more talented. Total toss-up, but I'm going to take the Ravens to beat the Chiefs and drop them to a very dubious 1-3 record. All right, so those are my picks for this week. If you've got some picks, put them right down there in the comments. Reminder, join me every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. for the live show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And also coming out over the weekend will be my 2 Jets videos, one with the full game preview against Miami, and the 5 bowl predictions and score prediction video as well. So be on the lookout for that. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.